don't know where to sit, you can put like that, or you will set them where they need to sit. That's it? Can you check afterwards? Okay. Because next time we need to check it. Yeah, check it. No, no
everything in front of you. If you want to read, I will read it otherwise. If you have any questions, feel free to approach me. Brief you already a little bit, but I mean it's a lot of documentation most likely. So I will just brief you. You have all this picture, this page. Yeah. Oh yeah. Otherwise I will. Take a seat, sir. I don't speak Dutch. It's fine. No, I'm from Belgium. I'm Thomas Rottenauer. I'm responsible for all the tasks we are organizing in this competition. And I will guide you through the task now. And I would like to, of course, we start with this. So, you see a lot of columns, a lot of themes. For you, what I would like to ask you, for you is the most important to see at the design of the music instrument and the theme presentations. These two columns are for you to fill in, and the rest we will take care of after the Now, we already saw a lot of theme design, a lot of designs over here standing, and you already have probably an idea what it is. They have to make a music instrument who could play 10, at least 8 frequencies. And we gave them the choice to give it octave. So octave is like 8 notes who belong together. So none of them will have the same frequency, but they will sound. That's the choice we gave them. For the rest, all the objective evaluation of this we did upstairs. So we did upstairs. So right now it's just only you who are taking care of the...
Testing.
Okay. So we also need to play a tune afterwards. We have 8 frequencies. With these 8 frequencies, you can play a song. There are 3 different songs. You will feel in the end, in the appendix, there are like 3 songs. The first song is really easy. It's also why you get less points if you play it correctly. The second song is harder, it's longer. And the third song has 10 notes. So that's not the most difficult one. So that's why you will see a lot of teams being able to play 10 notes. They went for the most difficult one. But that's a chance it takes, because if it's not well played, they will get less points as the one. For the rest, also put a lot. I'm also curious myself. I didn't have to time myself to look at everything. So I'm also curious. Like everything will be live streamed. So I don't know if you think that's my laptop. Okay. Our team design team please sit down. We're going to start. Also, organizers or other people, you can also take a seat over here. Okay. Welcome everyone. I'm Thomas Attenhaler, and I will help you all through this presentation. I will introduce my right hand, Evelina. She will help you with setting up everything. If you have any questions at that moment, approach us. So we will start. First of all, I will go through the exact evaluation, how it will happen. So you have 3 minutes to put your prototype on the table and do your presentation. It has to happen in parallel. It has to happen in parallel, and so it will happen. After these 3 minutes, you can show to the jury how the design works with playing some real-life sounds. Try to get as close as possible to the task as we described before, and afterwards the jury will ask you some questions, and then it will be the next team. So, before we will start, I will give the microphone to each jury. You can stand up and introduce yourself to the team.
Hello, I'm Thales Juchner, Vice Director for Research at RTO.
Hello, my name is Moater Sozonic, and I'm teaching at Faculty of Engineering, Economics and Management.
Hello, my name is Elinda Sarkari, and I am professor at Faculty of Engineering, Economics and Management.
Hi, my name is Leonard, and I also am a lecturer in Riga Technical University.
Thank you. I will start with just stating all the different orders, the order of the presentations, and also check if the team is present here. Spain, you will start. Can you raise your hand? Okay. Poland, you will be second. Baltic, you will be third. Central, you will be fourth. Balkan will be fifth. Benelux will be sixth. Turkey will be seventh. 8 will Greece. 9 Italy. 10 Alpe Adria. 11 Ukraine. 12 Nordic. 13 France. 14 Romania and Moldavia. 15 Portugal. Okay, I will ask now the first team, Spain. You can come in the front. You can take your prototype and your poster, and we will start. Okay, your time is going now.
Good afternoon to everyone. We are in Spain, and that's our project. all though, we would like to explain another idea that we had and in which we worked for around 7-8 hours because of a misunderstanding. The first idea we had was based in a bus system using the fact that because of the theory of harmonics, you can use only 3 keys or 3 tubes to produce different amount of sounds depending on the amount of vibration that arrives in it. And that was our principal idea. After all, we couldn't make it, so we changed the topic and we decided to do this one.
And so after the first design which was based in a trumpet, because of a misunderstanding, we could not make it. We thought of a second design. It was late, and we were nervous, and we decided to make it as simple as possible. And we are lucky to have 2 guys in our team which are fabulous musicians and know a lot about music. And so we focused a lot on making these different metal pieces to sound completely accurate, and we made it. We had to use the materials we could, because in the shop there were no more materials, and we tried to use eco-recycled system, as we call it, because it's just different parts that had nothing to do with music. As simple to build as you could see, it was completely dismantled over there. Now it's more or less working, but we could not make it to design a keyboard, and that's why our task, unfortunately, is not finished. And we, however, have managed to make the perfect sound. So if you allow us, my friend Alejandro will play you a little song on our instrument.
Thank you. First question.
Everything which is simple is sometimes so very good, but I wonder in this case, how do you going to play this in windy weather?
What?
In windy weather,
Yeah.
can you play this?
In windy weather.
It's an indoor instrument.
It's an indoor instrument.
Actually, it's an indoor instrument, so we haven't considered this possibility. The first idea we had was a wind instrument, so there's no problem at all to play it outside. But in this case, as you see, with this wind, there's no point to play it.
I didn't catch exactly how did you get your materials? I understood that you were late and then you went to the shop and everything was sold out. Well, how did you get those?
At the beginning, our idea was to make a completely different design. We already had these pipes, and we had the wood as well. And well, in this competition, there's kind of a shop with limited amount of materials. As after 7 hours of working and misunderstanding both our part, we had to change what we had been doing, and we had to change the materials we had but we only could choose from those that were left in the shop. So, for example, we could only get one metal pipe, which is one of the.
Okay, those were still available at the shop, yeah?
Sorry.
Yeah, those were still available.
Let me clarify. We have a shop principle where they can buy the materials. We have a limited amount of materials for each team, but also in global. At the moment, because they started late with this buying, at the moment these materials were out, and the materials they first intended to buy were out, and they were not able to buy this anymore. But other materials were available.
Yes, and even we used some materials because you could return materials to the shop for half the money. We even reused some materials that other teams had already returned to the shop. So we did eco-recycling materials.
Thank you. Poland are you coming from?
Hello, we are a team from Poland. We are pleased to introduce our sound system. It's based on simple toy which I think everyone had in kindergarten. For construction we use wooden lugs and styrofoam because the styrofoam made construction quite stable. Sound producing system is based on 8 aluminium pipes with different length and diameter, so we get different frequencies of the sounds. The pipes are tied by fishing lines in place where, as we suppose, are notes, so the frequency we don't want is reduced. Result, we get 8 notes from 8 octaves. Keyboard consists of wooden keys, which are tied to a metal screw stick, so they can move freely. Moreover, we use isolation pipe to reduce the noises which could get from the falling down keys. Many people like when they can see how their devices work, so decide to not design any casings. I hope it works quite nice and it's simple, and we were able to build it quite cheap. Show how it works.
Are there any questions?
Thank you. It's original design. I think mechanically also very nicely set up. But when I was listening, the sound was a little bit dull. Have you thought about to somehow enhance the sound? Because you cannot see them you cannot hear at this distance properly. Have you thought about how to enhance it, how to make it louder?
We thought that we could build a little box which will make the sound goes to the only one side. But as I said, we think it's quite nice to look, and we didn't want to destroy this effect.
Well, just in one sentence, I would like to hear your answer. What was the biggest challenge during the process, from the very beginning till then?
I think that the biggest problem for us was to reach reach exact frequency to cut the pipes in the right length, it was quite hard because 1 millimeter shorter pipe definitely changed the sound. And we couldn't buy more pipe. We had only one chest for only pipe.
Any more questions? Okay, and I thank you, Poland, and I would like to ask Baltic to come on.
Hello everyone, we are team called Gravy from Latvia. In this contest we are representing Baltic region, and this is our project. As you see, it's called Gravy Tunes, and its basic working principle is when we're hitting this keyboard, sound comes out of these aluminium tubes or pieces.
Our team set the hardest goal to play 10 notes. So our device plays 10 notes in the highest octave.
The hardest part, as for previous team, was to fine-tune the tubes. And for our design, as each tube is isolated from each other, so that the sound comes from the one tube that we are playing. And during the process, we found out that half of the tube sounds better in our design than the full-size tube. But at the end design, we had to use kind of both solutions. We managed to tune them at the right frequencies, but you can see both. And actually, in this setup, it's sounding good. Actually, I mean, the round tubes and half of the tubes, they're like one coherent system. They're not like very separate. And I think that's about it for our design, and the sound will say about itself. We're gonna play a song called Old Farmer MacDonald.
I was just wondering, since you are from Baltic, from Latvia, why don't you choose to develop instrument using string? I mean, something more similar to our ethnical roots, like folklore.
Our team decided to choose this material because we figured out that this would sound better. We are not so familiar with instruments, none of us is kind of musical person. And also we kind of thought that we couldn't find a good solution to trigger the strings. Because we have to use keyboard. Yes, for sure you can do that, but we thought that this solution could be so much better than pulling the strings. And also strings have to be put under big tension, so they sound loud. It would be really, really quiet if we used strings in this solution. That was the biggest problem. And also for strings, you need to use strings. You need something to resonate with them. It's also kind of additional task to build, something to resonate with the strings. So,
Do you have a wire in the shop? Do you have a wire?
Yes, but we evaluated the materials that we could get, and from our evaluation, we figured that that wouldn't be the best option here.
But wires were available.
Okay, it looked very good, looked very neat. Can we use it, for example, in a picnic? Play some songs.
Yes, for sure.
And sing something. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like a guitar instead. Okay. No?
Full octave, so you can play songs.
Okay. Very good. I will buy it.
Main price.
Can you turn it upside down? Or it will fall?
Run it like this.
So this is stable, so yes, you can buy it.
Almost stable.
No more questions? Thank you. Next one is Central. Central, you can come forward. Central. As a reminder, I will remind Balkan you are after Central.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear jury, this is our project we were working on for 2 days. Unfortunately, in the end, it's not working. We are really sorry for that, but at least we were trying. We are supposed to make this on the principle of the guitar. So we have a string which is tightened, and at certain distances with these levers, we hold the string so we can adjust the frequency and elute the tone. But in the end, and also this was for vibrating the string, so we can make a sound. But in the end, we are really sorry it doesn't working because of our fault, and at least we tried.
Come here.
Well, could you explain very shortly once more what was the reason for the failure in your constructor team? What was the basic reason why didn't you complete the task?
The main reason is that we have nothing in common with the music. We tried many things like the bottles in the beginning. Then we said it's not a good way for us, so we tried pipes, and then we come to the guitar. But then we had a problem with the tuning, and in the end we don't have enough time to build a keyboard, so it's like a provisional solution for us.
Then a very short question to all the audience. Please raise your hands who has something in common with music, unless you're listening music. Who is either playing or... Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have more questions for Central? No sound. You cannot play. Try to hit the wood, no? Okay.
Just any sound. Any sound.
Crash it.
No.
Okay, then I will thank you, Central. So the Balkan team comes forward. And right now we are team number 5. So we're almost at the third of the competition, the show, and it's going well. We already seen some designs who can play a nice song. We'll see what this one can do. Are you ready?
Of course. Can everybody hear me? I need to gesture a lot. Okay. Can you hear me behind? Thanks. So, teams to start with with the pipes and with the percussion instruments, and we realized there are three fundamental ways to go. One was the percussion, by some either hitting pipes or bottles or metal. The other one was by strings and with some string instruments, and the third one, which nobody did, was the wind instrument. We decided to go for the string instrument because we thought it would be easiest to adjust the tension with screws. And that way we could minimize the time in tuning. And actually we had only two tuning sessions with the instrument. Now, our initial design was basically based off the harpsichord. It's a not so popular instrument nowadays. And the main idea is it looks like a piano, but instead of hitting the string, it has a claw which pulls the string. We couldn't repeat the circular motion that's needed for that, so we wanted to make a design with a triangle, which would, when going down, which would hit the string, and then when returning, rotate so not to hit string again. That turned out to be a lot harder problem that we managed to put into this small time frame. So then we decided to go for another type of design, harmonica type of design. And you will notice that in the future versions, our product will also have a harness, so you can use it outdoors. And we made it so it's like some cross between the string instrument and the instrument that you could hold in your hand. Originally, it should have keys, but now we shifted our design to another perspective. Our main problems included the trigger, as I said. Like I think all the contestants here, we poorly evaluated our time. And we also had a problem on analyzing the complexity that we expect from our system. The Occam's razor dictates us that the simplest principle is always better, and we over-engineered it. And we had to come with the solution to improve what we did in the shortest amount of time that was available to us. This is what we did. This is one and only maestro of the gypsy box, as we call it. And he will now play you a tune. Now we will need the microphone.
Thank you. Upfront, I apologize for not so currently good tuning, but I hope you'll understand that we didn't prepare enough for this. I'll play for you the Old MacDonald melody, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for this performance. A question from the jury.
Thank you. Thank you for interesting presentation. Actually, it's really needed before you played it, because the idea is quite original. Although maybe the song was not that good, to be honest. But my question is, you know, it's quite difficult to shift this stick back and forward. Have you thought about somehow improving so you just hit it once?
Well, the original design should have included rubbers that would return it, and that was the harpsichord design. And our next design was this harmonica type of design, but as I said, we'll tweak minor bugs. In the next solution, we'll just lubricate those joints, and it will go as smooth as you can imagine.
Looking forward now.
questions? Okay, then I thank you for your time. Okay, we're at now. While we're testing the second microphone is arriving, I think Benelux team number 6 is up. So Benelux team, if you're ready.
So, hi everyone, we are the Benelux team, and the instrument we made is actually based on a piano. But a piano is based on strings, and we thought it's a bit difficult, so we will make a percussion piano. So it's just like a piano, it has keys, and you can hit them, and they will hit these metal tubes inside, which will make a sound for us. So we went for this really good design with firm keys and in a good box. So it has a resonance chamber to embed the sound. Because we had a little bit of problem that it's a bit quiet, but yeah, now it's a bit more louder. Also, we added some shock absorbers, so the wood wouldn't make any sound if we play the piano. And also, the keys are returned to their original position, some rubber bands like springs. That's what I have to say about it.
Okay, then you can show, then you can show us how it works.
Okay, as you understood, the sound is very strong. My question is, what do you think, which way you should go to make it louder?
So now we used rubber bands to hang the tubes in the air so they could vibrate, but the rubber bands are actually damping the sound a lot. So we should use like a wire or a metal or a plastic wire to hang it up instead of rubbers. And I think that will solve a lot of sound problems. And yeah, also we didn't have a lot of metal tubes, not a lot of length, so we had to make them very short and very high pitch, and that's why it doesn't sound good. But if we had more material, more longer tubes, it would sound a lot better, I guess. But that's for everyone else.
So that means that you spend all your money on case, right?
No, we just had a limited amount of tubes we could buy. We have enough money. We have enough money, but we can only buy like 50 centimeters of a tube. So, yeah.
So the materials were limited. Yeah, the total amount of credit.
Better sound.
Yeah, I don't know how they managed. I think one team split them in half, and that's why they have like double length, and they can make it sound better, I guess.
No, any more questions from the jury side? Everything clear? Okay, then thank you, Benelux team. Person, you can come in front. Okay. Number 7 is 30. Noording is only number 12. So, while 30 prepares themselves to come forward, this is number 7. After this team, we will take 5 to 10 minutes break. So you can all go to refresh yourself a little bit, and afterwards we will continue with the 8 last themes. Turkey?
Hello everyone, we are Turkey team. Now I will use some information about our design, but we are still recorded. It doesn't work now because we couldn't finish it because we lost some time when we try to make a design. We did it yesterday, but when we go to the market, there was no equipment in the market. The reason is that they forgot to write these things. The second thing, totally quantity. I mean, the other thing, cash thing, buy the a lot of things, and we couldn't find anything. And try to do the different things with the fishing line, and we catch some sounds. I mean, notes, but we couldn't give the handle the cable. Let me introduce our design. Our design, as you see, is combination of the wires and the fishing lines, and we use the stretch rod to catch the notes. I mean, do, re, mi, and it is easy to, and we will try to lots of time in the testing time. And we, as I said, we heard some sounds, but now it doesn't work. So I think we are still for it.
You're not going to play any song? Okay. So indeed, this is the design, and all the materials were shown in the beginning at the shop, but apparently there was miscommunication. And now some questions from the jury.
Could you bring it closer to us?
We did some acoustic then, and to make the sounds really, yes.
Sounds?
Yes.
So there is some sound. Okay.
What did you play?
Yeah. Oh.
Or can we try?
Well, why are you so shy? Well, of course, nothing is perfect in this world, but you have heard from your colleagues that sound is well, it might be much better. So maybe you can still try to play and somehow show what you have achieved. But well, take a microphone closer to the strings.
Any follow-up questions?
You know, when I was a little girl, I also made such things, so I know it works perfect. So you just have to do it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You did it very, very well, so
We will do
our
better.
greetings for you.
Thanks so much.
You should look from the bright side.
Yeah.
As stated before, now we will take 5 to 10 minutes to take a break. Let's take a look. It's now 4:45. We will be back here at 5. 15 minutes break. Thank you for pushing the last team. In the end, they played with Johnson.
Yeah, well, they have quite a good construction on that facility, so of course they didn't have time or money to fine tune, but then it works. It works.
It was one of the points was they had to play from the keyboard, so touching with the hand was not allowed.
Okay, that's
so you see, like that's why they are like different, really difficult construction. Otherwise, it's a little bit too easy.
Yeah. Latvian has 2,500. Latvian national instrument, so it's not guitar, but we call it quarter. Like strings and...
Any more questions? So I think you already got, we had a problem, we missed all the teams wanted to use the tubes, and we thought that more teams were going to wait being diverse, so that was the only. So the tubes were like out in I think 1 or 2 hours, so the teams who came first had it, but then afterwards they were out and
were those bottles available at the store?
yes. They were not drank inside. They were empty before they came in. Because we wanted to use some just general materials. I'm interested in how this is.
For this kind of stuff, that's probably construction.
I will leave, if you have any questions, please. We're going to start in 3 minutes for the second part of this evaluation. If everything can take their seat again. Okay, we're going to start with the second one. You can all go. Can the people in the back also go to take and go to seat? Take a seat, everyone. Okay, last call for team design to take a seat. Right now, Kristen is also having a break. We will see the next team design. Are all the teams here? Okay, we're still. So right now, I will just check if all the teams are here. Spain, are you left here? Yes. Poland. Baltic. Make some sound that I can hear you. Central. Balkan. Benelux. Turkey. No Turkey? Turkey is there. Greece. Italy. Alpe Adria. Ukraine. Nordic. France. Romania, France, if you want, there's still space to sit over here. Portugal, and then all the teams. Okay, Greece, you can come in front and present your solution.
Good evening, everybody. We're a team from Athens, Greece. This is Achilles, this is Kostas, this is Vangelis, and I'm Nikos. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, I'm going to briefly present you with our device, Krusto 3000. Krusto is IED phones in Greek. So to start with, this is going to be the sound part of the device, the sound producing system. It consists of 8 bottles. Basically it's 5 bottles, 3 jars, and 8 corresponding pins. Each pin hits the bottle and makes a certain noise, and each pin is wrapped around with a thread going up in a rock, and then coming down finally on a bottom. Now, about the platform, this was some kind of a carpet, the base for our construction, and these are 2 thick walls for holding the bottles in place, and finally we have 5 columns actually, in order to have a robust and maintainable device. The innovative part of our device are the 8 rubber bands connected to the buttons, so that each button can be reset to its initial position after a push. So that was all I had to say about our device. If there are any questions that I can answer?
Maybe first you can play your device?
Yeah, that would be something. Make a demo.
We are gonna play it, let me start.
articulation and sound is really strong. So, what I noticed when you were playing that you have this strings that are hitting the buckles. They are starting to swing over the time, and then you miss the buckle. And I think this is one of the drawbacks. Have you thought about how to go around it?
Yes, that's a good question actually. Each of these ropes are a little bit more flexible than we thought they would be, and the distance from the bottle is quite a problem as well. So what we thought we could do about it is have a less flexible material cover the thread right there, so that it couldn't oscillate that much. But we didn't have that much time to finish that part, and for the basic music that we have to play, there was no need about that.
Also, I want to say that for the swinging part, it's important the center of the mass to be at the lowest place. So that's why we put the bolts with the head down, which could also put some screw, some nuts at the base, so they would be more heavy, but we couldn't buy those nuts because we spent all the money like Greek way.
Thank you for that. Are there more questions for the Greek people?
Does the sound differ from color of the bottle?
What was the question again?
Does the sound differ from color of the bottle?
Not from its color. I mean, we picked 3 different jars and 5 different bottles, so that each one of these make a different sound and different note and a different octave. So we picked the exact height at which to hit each bottle so that it can produce a certain note at a certain octave.
During the development process, did you experience any tough challenge, or everything went smoothly?
Well, we separated the jobs according to the whole construction. These 2 guys worked on the mechanical part of it, and we worked on the sound. So we had some challenges, some problems regarding how to play some certain notes. So we had to pick the certain eigen frequencies in order to keep close to those notes. I've had some testing around it using some sort of software, and we decided to have these 2 walls closely to grab the buttons at a certain place, so that only a certain length of the buttons could oscillate. So by selecting the length of it, the length of oscillations, we managed to pick the correct eigenvalues, eigenfrequencies.
Thank you. Are there more questions from here? No? Thank you, Greece. Next up is Italy. Italy, you can come in front with your device. And you saw a lot of people joining us for a few minutes during this presentation. These were the case study people. As you all know, this is not the only part of the competition. Also, case study people are working on tasks. You will see in the end of the competition what they were doing, but in the next time I will tell you a bit more about the task of today's event. He prefers to speak without the microphone.
We are Italian TV. We are from University of Rome, Tor Vergata. We had a little problem the first day with material and smooth, but we changed the media 2-3 times. But we said rules are rules, and never mind go on. So we made a guitar, piano guitar, and we used just one steel wire, and the goal was to change the wire length with keys, and the other keys is the big keys to play music. Maybe it can be used for coordination exercise because you have to do different movement with all two hands. The left hand with the nose keys and the right hand will play music. We made the guitar chest with wood, clean wood, and the pick with the top of a jar. And in the testing area, all worked correctly, but unfortunately, just a few minutes ago, someone broke the pick handle. So we have to play with, not with hand, but just yes. The handle was here, but it's broken. So we have to move it like this.
We have made other accommodation to choose the tune of the war. We build a tuner using some screw, and the position of the keys are not casual. This is an hyperbolic scale because the frequency of the vibrating wire is reverse proportionally to its length.
Okay, thank you. Then you can play your music. Is it loud enough or do you need a microphone for that? Thank you. Jury, do you have questions? And can I ask you to keep the microphone closer to the mouth?
I have a question. Since you're creating guitar, my basic question is, could you play Smoke on the Water?
Yeah.
Was guitar, or construction, your construction based on guitar, was that your initial idea and you continued on that, or well, how did you come to the idea of guitar particularly?
The first idea was with aluminum pipes, but we changed it completely to the second. Guitar maybe because we like it, just this.
Okay, you like the guitar, but what was the reason of changing your construction, or changing your mind, your concept?
We changed it because the simply low with a vibrating wire, and we started with the idea of more wire, with 8 wire, but the light switched on, and he had a great idea to use only a wire.
No more questions? Then I thank you. And this team is Alte Adria. Like I told you before, case study teams, they have every day one task. Today, they were working on dust control. You know, during working on a building, you create a lot of dust. And now they have to come up with a solution to remove, like to try to eliminate as much dust as possible. And they're presenting right now, but I think Alpe Adria is ready to do the presentation.
Thank you. So we are Team Alpe Adria from Slovenia. We opted for the concept with metal pipes, and we opted to make different nodes with different length of pipes. We decided on 10 nodes. We made some cuts and we made some mistakes, so we ran out of pipes. So that's why we had to improvise. We started cutting with the higher nodes, and then we ran out of pipe with the lower nodes. So that's why you would see there are some other sound producing elements in here, like the jar and the cut pipe. So the sound from these other elements is different in color, but correct in pitch, so correct frequency, but a bit different in color and different in frequency, but it still works quite nicely. Then again, we had some more problems with getting the right frequencies. We had no problems with getting the high frequencies, but the lower ones were more difficult. We thought how to solve that, and we thought about mechanism of exciting those pipes. So it's basically an impact. So if the impact is shorter, so if the materials are harder, the impact is shorter, and the sound producing element would be excited with all the frequencies. So in the ideal case of ideally rigid material, this would be a Dirac function and all the frequency would be excited. But we didn't want to do that because we wanted just the lower frequencies. That's why some of those keys don't have metal pins on, and they hit just with wood, because wood is much softer, and that's why we get some lower tones.
Thank you. Time for the presentation. Thank you. Jury, any questions for this team?
I'm just wondering about this kind of rope. What is the reason or function of that one?
Well, basically the sound is not that loud, so we wanted to make a bit like a shape that would direct the sound, and it doubles like a stand for the notes.
It works?
Not.
Sorry? Any other material which might work better? Any ideas right now?
Well, we were restricted to 25 decibels, so we wanted to achieve exactly this volume. So by doing this, we got closer to that number.
But also the materials chosen, we chose metals, aluminum, and we experimented with iron and wood. But the problem with other materials is they dampen, so the noise doesn't carry. So we opted for aluminum, and well, glass is a very similar. It's very hard.
And the building of this machine would be just very easy if we had enough of these aluminum tubes, because we were just off the length of the tubes, and we decided to improvise because of the lack of the materials.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Next thing is Ukraine. So I told you already about case study 2 for the teams next door. Case study 1 was yesterday. What they needed to do. You know it's hot in here. In Latvia it's not always that hot. But yesterday there was a factory who produces energy, a heat factory. And they needed to find a solution how to get the heat that's right now leaving the building, trying to convert it to more energy. You will see more during the last day, official closing day, then we will present you also some of the solutions they created.
Hello everyone, jury participants, best, we want to present our musical instrument. It's called bar piano.
So our device is actually consists of two main parts. It's a keyboard right here and the sound producing element. The primary body of this element is beer bottles and glasses jars.
So if you want to play this piano, you just need to push the buttons. This button is connected to the hammers, and when you push the button, the hammer just hit the bottle in the right place and make a sound.
And no one would like to
And actually, if you want to like listen to the music and want to hear its true beauty, you need to drink a few beers.
Thank you, Akoyi. Other questions?
Thank you. I think it's very beautiful design from this side. Can you turn it around to see this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Maybe you can just show one more time an example of how it works.
And why are they located in different heights? Is it related to sound?
Actually, it's because it's hard to put it in the one height.
Plus, there was limits for the dimensions of our instrument.
Yeah, well, design is a really, well, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then our team, Nordic, you can join us in the fun. Already before I told you, previous time I told you about the official closing time. Right now we're presenting all the solutions here. But also during official closing day, there will be a show with not only Team Design 1, but Team Design 2, not only for you, but also for the case study people. They will be also there. So this will be only one of the times you can see these designs in action. I think Nordic is almost ready to give you. Huh?
Hi, we are the representatives from Nordic, and when we first got this task, we thought that the best idea to get the perfect pitch was to have strings, because you would be able to tune them very finely. And we were actually able to get as close as 0.5 hertz away from the ideal when we tuned it. When we first started, we used fishing line, because we thought that it would handle the stress, but due to structural difficulties, it broke. And when we had used the whole 3 meters that were available to us by the rules, we had to change material to another string.
Yes, and because our main idea was based on a piano, we wanted to have 10 arms that struck the strings, made them vibrate into a resonance chamber. But because we changed the lines into a more fret, it didn't work with having an arm that just struck it. You have to have something that backed it up, like you do on a guitar. Because of this, we put on small nails that grab the string when they go down and then pull it up. But because of also the strings, these frets are also kind of weak, so they break. They also broke, which was our biggest problem. Which was the strings that kept breaking. The tuning itself wasn't that hard, but because of the pressure on the strings, they kept breaking all the time. And then we have these arms that rotate on an axle and they're stuck with rubber bands. And then we also have this resonance chamber with a hole underneath. So it just like it works like a guitar. But sadly it doesn't work in quite as well as we had hoped. So the sound isn't that high. But we'll have to try it.
I will ask Yuri, maybe if you can move it a little bit closer and play it right in front of them, they can see how it works. Okay, so it works with a nail that goes right under the string, and when I put it up, it's through the string. Also, there are some nails across the wire, so they're different lengths.
I wonder how long does it take before the nail cuts the string?
Sorry?
How long does it take before the nail cuts the string?
Yeah, when we first did this, first set of thread, we tuned it, and then we're gonna play it and try it, and then the nail cut it, because we hadn't even grinded it, so it was still pretty sharp. But after that, we took sandpaper and grinded it down, so now they're pretty round, so now they don't cut it. So if we hadn't practiced, we would have made it through this.
It's enough for tuning, right? And the second question is about resonance chamber. Have you thought about the shape, how it's affecting the sound?
Yeah, it should be more round shapes, but because it would take so much material, we didn't have it much, and also nails and stuff to put it together, it would have been very hard to get it stable.
So there was a guitar, bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bill?
I think that those buttons, too many of them. Maybe you can use 2 or 3, because as I saw, when you push one of them, that automatically connects to another, and then you will mess and you're pushing everywhere. Maybe you can use only 2 or 3 of them and just rotate them and pick the right.
We wanted 10 because to get the highest points in the test, you have to have 10 notes. And we wanted
10 notes with 3 buttons.
Yeah, maybe. But we thought that one each would be best, and if we had more time, we could have fixated them. So they used to move individually, but we haven't got time, sadly.
No more questions from you? Okay, thank you, Nordic. Next team is the French team. They are coming from. So, French team is number 12, if I'm correct. So, no, number 13 even. We are arriving at the 3 last teams we need to present today. Who do I need to give the microphone to? Yeah. Here we go.
Hello. So we're the French team. This is Anne-Lorraine, Jérémy, Benoît, and Henri. Our music box. In the beginning, we wanted to do something special because we didn't want to do a xylophone or a guitar, so we found it was too not easy, but it wasn't really creative. So we wanted to do something with the wind, like a note, like in the church. Problem is we couldn't because there were nothing to do it. So we finally decided to do this, inspired on African instruments from Noan. And so we did the box, because everybody knows that with the box the sound can be louder, because minus 25 dB was strong. And then we manufactured this keyboard, but the problem is that the wood sticks absorb the shocks, and for the sound it doesn't really work. I'm going to show you. It's too much.
To create a sound, we have to put the stick here. And we need a lot of energy. And so we use a keyboard. And the problem is when the keyboard is up the stick, you have to get down. And so we create a kind of keys within two parts. So we can put it up and after down, like this. But we don't have enough time to finish it because we need more screw, and the drill was already busy, so we can't finish it as well.
So
maybe we can
put it down.
but yeah, we can't not really play with it. We can.
Let's maybe start again with the microphone. That's everybody. Are there questions from your side? Or do you need some time to think about it?
I think the design is really good.
Thank you.
Even got some ornaments in the top.
Yeah,
it's from our school.
I was just wondering, because the idea is quite good, but the keys, the keyboard that you have designed, because it's quite apparent from the beginning that you should have problems, and you still choose this quite challenging way to do it.
Yeah.
So, because at the beginning it's clearly that you need a lot of energy really to trigger this wooden stick, and you still have chosen this quite way approach to do it with the keyboard.
Yeah. We didn't have much, we had no more time left, so we did what we could.
What does those colors on the bottom? This is just for you to mark which is.
No, it's
No, this is just.
we don't have to show the colors.
So, but I agree that the design is very well done.
No more questions? Thank you, friends. Now it's time for Romania and Moldova to come in front. They're almost here. Your microphone is ready, and I will give it to you. The floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Cristi, and my colleagues Madalina, Paul, and Alex. We're Team Romania. We're students in computer science and electrical engineering. And in the last couple of days, we found out that we know some stuff about instruments, so it was quite fun. When we first started the prototype build, we have set some initial functional and technical requirements. We wanted the device to be functional, obviously. It needed to have a good design in terms of aesthetics and ergonomics. It needed to be reliable, it needed to be cheap and cost efficient, and it needed to be user friendly. So every person that sees the instrument for the first time should be able to produce some sound out of it. We had two main issues we needed to address. We first wanted to use bottles filled with liquid, but we weren't allowed to use any liquid, so we've switched for aluminum parts. And the trick was to find a reliable mechanism to quickly and thoroughly filter the sounds to actually produce the right notes in the same octave or domain. We managed to do this using our background in physics. We have used, this was our secret sauce. This is the actual formula we've used. We knew all the ingredients, but we needed to find a constant, which we deduced in our initial measurements using different sort of aluminum pipes. With that constant, we've made a lot of calculations into the final pieces, which you can see here. These are actually 10 notes, an entire octave, and 2 notes from the next octave, so we can play a large number of songs. The second part was, because of the requirements clearly stated that the actual keyboard is not allowed to produce any sound, we needed to make a keyboard that is somehow connected to the actual instrument and use only the keyboard to play the instrument. So we built a mechanism like shown here. This is the aluminum pipe, and this is a gear lever with the bouncy mechanism, and at the top was a pin, a heavy pin that hits the pipes. This lever is connected with the rope to every key of the keyboard. And in addition, we wanted to build a rotor with a song mapped to it, so we could rotate the rotor and actually play a song like a music box. We didn't have time to build that one, unfortunately, but anyway, the device works. We're very proud because after the calculations, in the first test, every note was between the mean and max values provided in the requirements. Let's play a Romanian song. Like any instrument, it needs some practice, but
The microphone is or is it louder? I guess it's louder.
Thank you, Romania and Moldova. Other questions?
How long time did it take for you to make?
the entire time.
Okay, so you slept?
Yeah, we did some time management. We built all the small parts individually, and the device wasn't actually ready until two couple of hours until the deadline. We started the assembly, and it just went fine. So we had no device 2 hours before the deadline.
So every team had the same amount of working hours?
Like 12 hours. 8, 10 plus 5. 4 to 5.
Yeah, I like the engineering or scientific approach actually you have used. First of all, you said that you did calculations beforehand.
Yeah, we did like 5 hours of calculations. We have entire papers with numbers and formulas. We don't want to see them again.
And then just 2 hours before, you kind of put it together.
Yes.
So,
Actually, two of us were working on computing the length, and meanwhile we were building the frame, the mechanism for actually only the pipes. We mounted the pipes about 2 hours before the end of time.
But you tested before, I mean 2 hours before you knew that the right
We've tested parts of the device. We've tested the keyboard mechanism. We've tested the bouncy mechanism, because here between each lever and pin there's some rubber.
And here are some stoppers, and when we press a key, it actually stops the hammer faster, and from inertia the screw bounces into the pipe.
So we have stoppers back and forth for each lever, and we've calculated that this would go exactly in the middle. These are actually calibrators, so screws, so we can tense the device, so we can line the pipes with the levers. And we've tested each of these individually.
Well, I think it's very impressive. It says 2 hours before the deadline. You didn't know
The 2 hours,
that this
just
machine will.
the actual instrument, this part, and the calibration with all of these was done in the last 2 hours. But we built parts on the way.
And the nodes were tested while, all the nodes from the pipes were tested separately from the whole mechanism.
Yeah, we had 12 minutes per hour, only 12 minutes per hour to make tests, and we used them accordingly.
Impressive. Just a question. Well, you have very solid and, like, in my feeling, very reliable construction. Well, the only question is, why did you make your keyboard such a narrow? Well, I have played piano during my childhood, but I feel that it's a little bit too narrow for my. Is that done by purpose, or
Yes,
that was what?
Just because of this router, which was our initial idea, we had a glass jar, which was actually of this size.
Okay, I got the idea. Okay, well, good intention. Thank you.
One more question?
It's not a question. I just want to say that it's fantastic design, and I sit here and think that this design, this thing is like iPhone. When you look at others, think that there is Nokia, something that's died.
Thank you for that.
It's not the iPhone. It's something so neat, fantastic.
Thanks.
And after this, I would like to ask the last team, if I'm correct, to the floor. Portugal, you can come in front. So this will be the last game of today. Tomorrow there will be no competition time. Recover, enjoy your day in Riga. Day after we will start again with a new team design, lasting 2 days, with a new challenge, with a new moment to prove yourself that you are the best engineer in Europe. But now first Portugal.
Hi. Okay, we are the team design from Portugal, and we will present our instrument. Our main goals with the instrument was to build something solid and that had the 10 keys necessary with the ongoing frequencies. And this is what we came up with. The 10 keys, the box shape to have a resonance, and the system works with a key that when is pushed hits a little piece of wood that changes sizes, and when it hits the piece of wood, it produces the sound. The size of the piece of wood will make the frequency vary. When you release the key goes up with using the rubber bands, and the sound propagates and comes out from this side. So we can hear it. Now we can proceed with the tune.
Thank you. Maybe you need a microphone or is it louder? Thank you. Is it clear for the jury? Question?
Bring it forward.
So what we see inside, the sticks dropping down with curly things at the end.
Yeah,
Well, I want to see how, there's no really mechanism how to keep this wet with the heat going all around.
I can explain that. We thought the wire that you can see there.
Oh, there's wire.
Yeah, we thought the wire would be enough, but it wasn't. Our other solution would be to add another layer of wood with the holes, so we could do it vertically, but we were out of time.
Thank you. Another question?
Yeah, one question. About reliability, you are hitting all the time. How reliable is your design? Everything. 5 times you played, 6 times, 7.
No, we played. We are playing since the practice this afternoon without touching the boards of wood. We have to hit it kind of hard to hear some sound, but the instrument is still.
Thank you. Was it the last question? Okay, I would like to have a last applause for the protocol team. This was the last team of today. And before we end, I would like to ask the jury if it's already possible to give a first impression about all the tasks. What are you thinking? Is it possible? Who wants to take? Yes, thank you.
All right. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the teams. It's very impressive work. Even though maybe not all the devices were working, but I feel that there was a really team spirit in every team, and this is something we really need in engineering. So thank you for your time and your input. And regarding the, if you look at the old teams and try to identify.
I will just, we keep the challenge secret.
Yeah, I'm not saying figures now, no, I'm just trying to kind of look at the average level, and I think that still, even some of the ideas were a bit more advanced. I think that in average, I think that everyone has done a really great job.
Okay.
Well, as Jürgen already mentioned, you have achieved different results, but I believe that you learn from the process itself. Even those who didn't fully complete the task, well, you have learned a lot from how to develop the product from the very idea till the prototype. Team dynamics, how do you help each other, and what have been your challenges? And well, in real life, in your engineering profession, you will face the same challenges. And well, it was interesting for me to observe how you are presenting your product. And of course, it's important to have engineering calculations and engineering sense of and feeling of engineer. And some of you mentioned that this is a machine. And I was just wondering whether those devices or products you have been presenting, whether they are machines or really sound instruments or something more than machine. And I was just thinking what makes a difference between a machine and an instrument, and what makes a difference between a mobile phone and iPhone. What is that? Right, okay. Anything else? Quality, marketing. Okay, in my mind that is a soul. And well, if we consider iPhone, that's still Steve Jobs. Well, he had inspiration, he had idea, and he loved his product. So if you add love to your machines, they might turn into musical instruments rather than machines. And of course, that's marketing, and that some of you even presented a brand name for your product. That's good. Photograp's presentation itself, so well, presentations were different, but all of you did good job. Good luck in further development of your instruments.
So, first of all, it is very hard to talk after Moses because he usually say everything very deep and describe everything in the process. So, anyway, what I have seen here, this is actually a lot of creativity because all approaches to this task was really creative. And yesterday I read one book about creativity, and there was said that creativity can be described as dynamic balance between madness and maturity. So, and I can't say, was here a madness or maturity? And probably both, because you reached a lot with all those prototypes that you have shown us today. So thank you very much, and it was really nice for me to be here, and I really learned a lot from you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sitting here, I think all the time about one phrase which Jeremy Clarkson used. Jeremy Clarkson used all the time. The phrase is, how hard can it be? How hard can it be to create a music instrument? And you showed us the variety of hardness, from something very simple till the iPhone. Every possibility what could be done, it was done here, and it was very interesting, and I like it. And I hope that someday I can bring some of your instruments to a picnic. Please send me your prototype. Okay?
Thank you. So we're reaching the end of this day, of the Team Design Day. I would like to thank one more time the jury for the time and the efforts that is already done or still needs to be done to finish the evaluation. Also, I would like to ask one time to thank all the people who worked on this topic group. Can you please stand up? Who is here are here? Some of us are working on other tasks for the coming day. For the rest, also thanks to everybody who helped us and to you as participants. I didn't see any big penalties. You were really acting as adults. Maturity was here. Also madness was here. Thanks for these nice words. And I think it's now time to leave for lunch, for dinner. It's evening. And I think you still have 1 hour of free time before dinner, if I'm correct. No? Yes? You want to say something, Kunta? No. Okay. You have 1 hour of free time, enjoy it, and we see you all as dinner. And I would like to ask to leave devices here. We will bring them upstairs and we will keep them for the last day, the official closing day, then also case study, and other people can take a look at it. Yeah, you can take your flag.